There comes a moment in a man's life when he notices something quietly disturbing, not about the world, but about himself. A subtle tightening in the chest whenever society tries to measure him. A flicker of irritation in conversations where expectations are slipped into your subconscious like a blade hidden beneath compliments. When are you settling down? Still single? You know you're getting older, right? They don't ask because they care. They ask because they fear something they can't explain. A man who walks alone is a man they cannot control. Most people don't understand this because they have never experienced life without dependence. Their identity is welded to relationships, routines, and the desperate need to be validated. So when they look at a man who stands untouched by that need, they assume he's broken, incomplete, or lost. But look closer, and you'll see the truth. The single man is the one who has escaped. In a world suffocating under expectations, marriage, performance, approval, conformity, the man who chooses solitude is committing the ultimate act of rebellion. Not loud rebellion, not angry rebellion, quiet rebellion, the kind that unsettles people because it cannot be influenced. This is not a message about avoiding love. This is not an attack on women. This is not a celebration of isolation for the sake of isolation. This is a dissection of power, the power acquired when a man stops living as a reaction to the world and starts living as the architect of himself. So understand this clearly. The modern single man is not deprived. He is privileged in ways most people will never experience. And as you listen to what I'm about to say, you'll begin to understand why more and more men are stepping away from the noise. Not because they've given up, but because they've finally seen the world without the distortions of obligation, tradition, or pressure. They're not defeated, they're awake. And the first privilege, uncompromising freedom. Most men spend their entire lives negotiating themselves, negotiating their time, their emotions, their priorities, bending their reality to accommodate someone else's expectations. They accept it as normal, even noble. But the man who stands alone operates on a different dimension. Every hour belongs to him. Every decision is made without permission. Every move is unfiltered by someone else's insecurities or moods. He works late when the mission calls for it. He wakes early because discipline is his religion. He builds without being interrupted by emotional storms that are not his to weather. He answers to no hidden agenda. He moderates no one's volatility. He walks without looking back. The world mistakes this for loneliness, but it is the purest form of mental sovereignty, because when your time is truly your own, clarity returns, the noise fades, ideas sharpen, progress accelerates, you stop reacting, you start constructing. Freedom is not the ability to do what you want. Freedom is the absence of emotional obligation, and only the man who walks alone knows what that truly feels like. Second, the second privilege, emotional silence. Men don't break from physical burdens. They break from emotional instability, arguments that go nowhere, mood swings that drain your strength, guilt used as a leash, silent treatment as punishment, expectations you never agreed to. This is the hidden tax placed on most men, and the same men who endure it will look at the man who refuses to play the game and call him cold, distant, or detached, because they envy the strength required to stand alone. The single man is not running from emotion, he is refusing to drown in someone else's. He has reclaimed his baseline, a state of calm, mental stillness, and internal quiet that sharpens everything he touches. He doesn't apologize just to keep the peace. He doesn't absorb someone else's chaos. He doesn't decode every shift in tone. He doesn't live under emotional surveillance. His peace is not earned, it is assumed. That kind of man becomes untouchable, because emotional control is the foundation of every form of power. The world cannot manipulate a man who no longer needs their approval. Third, the third privilege, financial sovereignty. You will never understand how much freedom costs until you live without someone else spending your resources. When a man is single, his money no longer leaks away through subtle obligations. Proving affection with gifts, financing lifestyles he did not choose, paying for validation he never needed, sustaining someone else's comfort at the price of his future. Instead, his financial energy compounds into something lethal: leverage. Every dollar becomes a brick in the foundation he's building. He invests in knowledge instead of nights out. He invests in the gym instead of guilt-driven favors. He invests in his craft instead of emotional maintenance. He buys back his time. He multiplies his options. He becomes self-funded, self-directed, self-contained. People romanticize love, but they forget this. Financial autonomy is ultimate security for a man. Not because money replaces companionship, but because it protects him from dependency, manipulation, and emotional ransom. The single man becomes sovereign, a man who owes nothing and therefore cannot be owned. 4. The fourth privilege: intellectual liberation. Most men never think for themselves. They think according to the expectations placed on them. Be agreeable, be polite, be acceptable, don't be too honest, don't challenge anything, don't disturb the narrative, play nice or be punished. But a man without emotional chains becomes dangerous intellectually. He speaks freely because he fears no withdrawal of affection. He thinks independently because he owes no loyalty to illusion. He questions everything because he has no role to perform. His mind becomes sharp, uncompromising, and unfiltered. His opinions are formed through observation, not approval. His identity grows from truth, not compliance. This is why society fears the lone man. He cannot be shaped. He cannot be softened. He cannot be bribed with belonging. He is honest to a degree that makes people uncomfortable. And in a world collapsing under lies, honesty is a weapon only the free can wield. The fifth privilege: limitless evolution. When you're single, you can change direction instantly. No debates, no compromises, no negotiations, no emotional fallout. If you want to move cities, you move. If you want to rebuild your life, you rebuild. If you want to reinvent yourself, you do it without apology. This is why solitude is not stagnation, it is acceleration. While others are anchored by obligations, you are weightless. Your growth is unrestrained. Your reinvention is unchallenged. Your ambition is unmonitored. Solitude is the forge where men sharpen themselves, not because they are avoiding connection, but because they refuse to dilute their potential. Your quiet seasons are not empty. They are incubation chambers. What you're building in silence will make noise later. The sixth privilege: freedom from expectation. Society has always placed a quiet burden on men. Carry more, feel less, provide always, sacrifice endlessly. Break silently, smile through exhaustion, ask for nothing. A man who rejects this conditioning becomes unpredictable in the best way. He stops apologizing for protecting his time. He stops explaining his goals. He stops defending his solitude. He stops performing masculinity at the expense of his identity. He chooses responsibility consciously, not because he's guilted into it. Most men burn out because they carry loads they were never meant to hold. But the man who stands alone chooses his battles with precision. He is not avoiding responsibility. He is avoiding exploitation. That difference separates the drained from the unstoppable. The seventh privilege: detached attraction. When a man stops centering women in his world, something shifts in the energy he carries. He becomes calm. He becomes selective. He becomes grounded. He becomes unbothered. And paradoxically, this is when women become drawn to him, not because he plays games, but because he radiates independence, a trait rare in the modern age. He is no longer trying to impress. He is no longer performing. He is no longer negotiating his self-worth. He is whole. He is present. He is unmoved. Women respect a man who does not need them to feel complete. They chase a man who cannot be pressured. They value a man who lives in his own frame. When you stop chasing, you create gravitational pull. When you stop needing, you become needed. When you stop seeking validation, you become the validator. This is not arrogance. This is centered masculinity. The eighth Privilege. Selective connection. The man who is comfortable being alone does not date impulsively. He does not tolerate chaos disguised as passion. He does not mistake attention for compatibility. Because he is not afraid to walk alone, he has the rare luxury to choose intentionally. He evaluates character, not charm. Behavior, not promises. Energy, not words. He knows what drains him. He knows what fuels him. He knows what peace costs, and he refuses to trade it cheaply. Most men settle because they fear emptiness. The strong man rejects what does not align. Love is no longer something he chases. It is something he filters. A relationship becomes a bonus, not a rescue, and if it never arrives, he remains complete. That is the final stage of masculine privilege. 9. The ultimate privilege, a life that is entirely your own. Here is the truth most people are too afraid to say. Being single is not a flaw, it is a foundation. It is the one chapter in a man's life where your time belongs to you, your peace is untouched, your finances build your future, your focus is undivided, your evolution is accelerated, your standards are uncompromised, your identity is forged, your purpose takes shape. The world tries to shame men into relationships before they understand themselves. But the men who resist that pressure, who choose solitude over conformity, discover something profound. They do not need anyone to complete them. They do not need anyone to validate them. They do not need anyone to approve their path. They are whole on their own, and whether someone eventually joins that life or not, the man remains sovereign, because he is not defined by who he loves. He is defined by how he lives when he stands alone. That is the privilege. That is the power. That is the truth most will never understand. So if you are walking alone right now, good. Stay there. Walk deeper. Strengthen your edges. Sharpen your vision. Protect your peace. Build your foundation. Master yourself. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not incomplete. You are becoming dangerous. Quietly, deliberately, unshakably dangerous. And the world has no defense against a man who needs nothing but his own mind, his own discipline, and his own direction. The man who does not fear solitude is the man who becomes unstoppable. And that man is you.